While on site you must follow instructions. Do not take chances. If you do not know, then ask. Only authorized personnel are permitted on any of the sites, owned or operated by Escrick Environmental Services Limited. Also known as EES Waste. Access, egress to and from the site is always via the weighbridge, unless otherwise agreed by the weighbridge operator. Go to the tipping area as instructed. Wear the correct PPE for the site, high-vis vest or jacket, safety footwear, and hard hat when out of the cab of the vehicle at all times, gloves, wherever practical. All loads must be tipped in accordance with the transport company's safe working procedure and risk assessment for Escrick site. All injuries, no matter how slight or trivial, must be reported immediately to the person in charge of the area visited. The right tools and equipment for the job are to be used, and in a safe manner, and only on approval of site management. Use, adjust and repair equipment only when authorized. Observe all no smoking rules. Flammable liquids are to be kept in approved containers. Fire protection equipment is to be used for firefighting purposes only. Never obstruct firefighting equipment or emergency exits. Report any near miss, any defects or hazards observed in the workplace, to the person in charge at the earliest opportunity. Keep the workplace tidy. Obey all safety signs, warnings, and instructions. Drive safely by observing and complying with the 10 miles per hour site speed limit, and any traffic signs. Be aware of your environmental impact while on site. As climate change progresses, drier, more dusty conditions are expected, and this will in turn mean drier and dustier material coming into site. Resheet loads, after inspection, to prevent material becoming airborne on the way to the tipping area. Keep to the site speed limit, or if necessary slower, to prevent dust being kicked up by your vehicle's wheels. Turn off your engine when not in use, to prevent unnecessary emissions and conserve fuel. Consider other traffic on site by giving way. Be patient, don't rev your engine or sound your horn when you are waiting. No one is kept waiting unnecessarily. Report any bad behavior, disputes, or complaints to the weighbridge operator, rather than engage in arguments. Correct, or report any unsafe conditions to the person in charge of the area visited. If you are disposing of waste material, it is your legal responsibility, as the waste carrier, to know that the waste you are tipping is legally permitted to be deposited at this site. Also, current legislation and regulations regarding classification of the waste and the application of EWC codes to describe it. A duty of care, waste transfer note must be surrendered for every load, unless authorized by the weighbridge operator. Material for deposit will be inspected at 2 areas of site: the weighbridge, where possible, and the tipping area. At either of these areas, the material may be rejected for reasons of conformity or quality standards. Rejected materials will be required to be removed from site immediately. If after you have deposited a load and left site, the material you have left is giving off strange odors or heat, foreign objects are found, or there is the suspicion that the material is contaminated in any way, you will be required to return to site and collect the material immediately. The practice of hiding or blending non-permitted materials into loads, and therefore illegally disposing of these materials, will not be tolerated, will be discovered, and will result in a ban from site and possible legal action. Money or gifts must never be offered to a member of staff without prior approval from EES Site Management. Upon completion of the transfer, the wheel wash must be used. On exit of the wheel wash, wheels must be inspected by the driver, paying particular attention to gaps between inner and outer wheels, on drive axles, where debris can get trapped. All debris must be removed before exiting the site, reusing the wheel wash where necessary. As you should be aware, it is your legal responsibility, and no one else's, to make sure that your vehicle is in a safe and roadworthy condition before leaving any site and entering a public road. This also means not ejecting material from wheels onto the highway or at other road users. To prevent this, we require you to check and clean your wheels thoroughly. Do not ask anyone else to check your wheels for you, and by accepting the site rules you are acknowledging your responsibility. Checking of wheels must take place in between the wheel wash and the weighbridge office building, and in view of the CCTV camera located on the front left corner of the building, as you are looking at it from the wheel wash. This is to record compliance. If the CCTV does not record you checking your wheels in this area, because you checked somewhere else, or didn't check at all, then it is logged on camera that you did not check your wheels, and this will result in a ban from site. The driver is responsible for their vehicle, while on site, at all times, and thus responsible for any damage, or mechanical failure, which results from traveling to an area, where they have been instructed to unload, or from the unloading itself. It is the driver's responsibility, to assess whether the area is safe, or unsafe for their vehicle. All vehicle makes are different, and have different clearances, and characteristics, and only the driver knows, what their vehicle, and themselves are capable of. If you feel the area you have been instructed to unload is unsafe, inform the person in charge of the area immediately. They may suggest an alternative, or if no alternative is available, they will direct you back to the weighbridge, to arrange exit from the site without unloading. The site opening hours are as follows. 7 a.m. to 12:30, at which point we close for lunch, and reopen at 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. We do not expect vehicles to be on site, and waiting for the site to open, as access to the site must be maintained, at these times, for staff coming and going, and not blocked by waiting vehicles. Drivers must allow adequate time, to follow all the required steps involved in tipping, including the first way, travel, tipping, traveling back, wheel washing, wheel checking, second way if necessary, and exit the site before it closes, at 12:30 and 4 p.m. How much time is needed, will depend on the type of vehicle tipping, the area of site tipping at, whether a second way is required on the weighbridge. You must never report to a site owned or operated by EES under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Indulge in any fighting or horseplay. Use any aggressive, foul, lewd or discriminatory language, or behavior towards customers, or staff. Drive in an aggressive manner. Brake heavily on the weighbridge, as this may damage the load cells. Use any plant, or equipment, for which you have not been trained, and authorized. Light any fires. Or leave equipment unless it is switched off and secure. By proceeding beyond the weighbridge, you are agreeing to the site rules in their entirety. Your name, your employer's name, and your registration will be added to the site rules register to reflect this.